Worthington Peter.
The Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, good for 10. Both teams on the board. Now let's try this 15-pointer. Look at the first time at your monitors, please, students, at this brilliantly colored painting of an acrobat in young harlequin. It's the early work of a Spanish painter.
Upper Arlington, Emily.
Picasso.
Pablo Picasso it is, good for 15, quite typical of his work. 10-pointer now. Which plaza in Dallas, Texas was dedicated...
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Dealey Plaza.
Dealey Plaza, good for 10. 5-pointer. In 1993, the Folger Library in Washington, D.C. received a $2.5 million grant from the Lila Wallace Reader's Digest Fund to improve the world's largest collection of books and manuscripts by which English playwright born in Stratford-on-Avon?
Upper Arlington, Tom.
Shakespeare.
Long way to go for a 5-pointer there. Okay, 20-pointer now. Name the poet whose town of Gardiner, Maine, became the Tilbury town of his poems.
Upper Arlington, Allen.
Frost.
Kilbourne Peter.
Poe.
Frost was a Vermonter. That's Edward Arlington Robinson. Let's try this 10-pointer. Identify the group of islands in the Pacific with which the United States signed a commercial treaty on January 17, 1878. Its capital is Pango Pango.
Upper Arlington, Tom.
Micronesia.
Kilbourne.
Worthington Kilbourne, Jeff.
Indonesia.
The answer is Samoa. Let's try this 20-pointer now. Needs you to listen to a portion of this composition. And for 20 points, name the composer, please.
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Bach.
That is Johann Sebastian Bach, of course, for 20 points. Nicely done. 10-pointer now. 10-pointer. Name the museum where in 1993 President Francois Mitterrand.
Upper Arlington, Tom.
The Louvre.
If it's French, it's the Louvre. Very good for 10. 10-pointer, listen carefully. Within the set of real numbers, what is the domain of the function y equals 7x minus 4?
Worthington Kilbourne, Brian.
All real numbers.
All real numbers it is. That's good for 10 points. Big bonus music in the background can signify nothing other, of course, than it being big bonus time. Our category first time up is literary devices. Here's a 20-pointer. Other than a tongue twister, what literary device is the familiar Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper?
Upper Arlington, Tom.
Limerick.
Worthington Kilbourne, J.D.
Alliteration?
That is alliteration. Good for 20. Glad I didn't have to say that twice. 30-pointer. Network announcer Harry Von Zell was guilty of using which literary device when he introduced the president on national radio as, and now, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Mr. Hoover Heaver.
Worthington Kilbourne, J.D.
Spoonerism?
That is a spoonerism. Good for 30. 40-pointer now in literary devices. Which literary device was James Thurber using when he wrote, "It's a naive domestic burgundy without any breeding, but I think you'll be amused by its presumption"?
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Metaphor.
Holly.
Tom.
Simile.
That is personification. Out of literary devices now into this 5-pointer. In 1993, the Senate voted to ban 19 types of assault weapons despite lobbying by the...
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
NRA.
By the National Rifle Association. On which amendment, Upper Arlington, does the NRA base its opposition?
Upper Arlington, Allen.
Second Amendment.
Number 2, good for 5. 20-pointer. Name the Republican senator from Massachusetts who, in 1919, spoke for 2.5 hours.
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Lodge.
Henry Cabot Lodge. Well done for 20. 15-pointer. Look again at your monitors, please, students. At this interesting animal who rolls up into a ball.
Upper Arlington, Tom.
Hedgehog.
Yeah, I accept that.
Hedgehog, porcupine, except anything like that with quills, methinks. Good for 15. 10-pointer. To which British author does the word Shavian refer?
Upper Arlington, Emily.
Bernard Shaw.
George Bernard Shaw, good for 10. 10-pointer. Within the set of real numbers, once again, what is the domain of the function y equals 1 divided by x?
Upper Arlington, Tom.
X is all reals except for 0.
That it is. Very good for 10 points. 15-pointer. Which German astronomer in his 1619...
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Kepler.
Kepler is good for 15. 10-pointer. In which Robert Louis Stevenson novel are the hero and the villain one and the same?
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's them. Good for 10. 15-pointer now. I need you to listen to this excerpt of an extraordinarily beautiful composition by a 19th century composer of note. For 15 points, I need you to name for me either the composer or the selection, please.
Arlington, Emily.
Beethoven.
That is Beethoven. Moonlight Sonata, very good for 15 points. Pretty piece of music. Here's a 5-pointer now. Name 3 of the 4 slave or border states that remained in the Union.
Upper Arlington, Harmon.
Missouri, West Virginia, and Kentucky.
Name 3.
Worthington Kilbourne, Bryan.
Missouri, Kentucky, and Delaware.
That's 3 of the 4. Maryland was the 4th 15-pointer. The tip of Scudic Peninsula in Maine is part of which U.S. national park?
Upper Arlington, Allen.
Acadia.
One of the most beautiful in the U.S. Good for 15. Good bonus time once again, students. Our category this time around is QX words. Now, these words are going to contain both the letter Q and the letter X. It's going to be either a word or a term, all right? Our first one now, in popular language for 20 points, an accordion is sometimes referred to as what?
Upper Arlington, Allen.
The squeeze box.
Squeeze box got the Q and the X. Good for 20. 30-pointer now. The British governmental department charged with the collection and care of the national revenue.
Upper Arlington, Harmon.
The Exchequer.
Exchequer, good for 30. 40-pointer. A person who gets caught up in the romance of noble deeds without regard to practicality is a victim of what kind of traits? From Don Quixote, quixotic. Quixotic. Let's move to this 10-pointer now out of Q's and X's. Which of the 3 types of classical Greek architecture is characterized by fluted, heavy columns with simple capitals and is the oldest?
Upper Arlington, Harmon.
The Doric.
The Doric it is. Good for 10. 20-pointer. Identify the German nun whose drawings that inspired the world-famous cherub-like figurines named for her are displayed in a new Texas museum dedicated solely to her work. Interesting facts about Sister M.I. Hummel. Here's a 10-pointer. Which religion's calendar dates from AD 622?
Upper Arlington, Emily.
Islam.
Islam it is. Good for 10. 5-pointer. Name the English author of the line, to be or not to be.
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Shakespeare.
Yes, our most difficult question of the year for 5 points. Here's a 15-pointer now. Which battle fought from October 23rd to November 6th, 1942? Saved the Suez Canal for the Allies.
Upper Arlington, Harmon.
Battle of El Alamein.
El Alamein, good for 15. 10-pointer. Name both the British field commander and the German field marshal.
Upper Arlington, Harmon.
Montgomery and Rommel.
That's both of them. Good for 10. 15-pointer. Whom does Shakespeare depict as that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow? This legendary mischievous elf appears in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Upper Arlington, Allen.
Puck.
That is Puck. Good for 15. 10-pointer. Which British leader said, for each and for all, the watchword should be, carry on?
Worthington Kilbourne, Jeff.
Churchill.
That is Churchill. Carry on and dread naught. 10-pointer, pencil, paper, maybe calculator, students. If on a blueprint scale, 1/4 inch represents 3 feet, how long is a pipe that is 3 inches long on the blueprint?
Upper Arlington, Tom.
That would be 48 feet.
No, it wouldn't.
Worthington Kilbourne, J.D.
36 feet.
Yes, it would. That's good for 10. 20-pointer. Which word? It's Spanish for the Inns. Names the Mexican Christmas festival, celebrated from December 16th through Christmas Eve, that involves a candlelight procession representing Mary and
Worthington
Joseph.
Kilbourne, Peter.
La Noche Buena.
Representing Mary and Joseph's search for lodgings in Bethlehem on the first Christmas Eve, Arlington. That is Las Posadas, 10-pointer. By a 45-43 vote over Beijing, which city was awarded the 2000 Summer Olympics?
Upper Arlington, Tom. Kilbourne, Brian.
Sydney.
Sydney, Australia is good for 10. 20-pointer. Identify the French site where in 1415 won't get to Agincourt, and that sound means that it's halftime. We'll double-check the scores and come back and meet our 8 students and their advisors right after this short break.
The top 4 teams of In the Know will receive scholarships to The Ohio State University. The Ohio State University's Office of Student Financial Aid will award 3 In the Know scholarships to the championship team, 2 scholarships to the runner-up, and 1 scholarship to each of the semifinalist teams in this season's competition of In the Know. And now, here's Bill Schiffman.
Another close one thus far. Our score at halftime, Upper Arlington 230, Worthington Kilbourne 185. And we'll get right back to the second half of questions in this quarterfinal round in the Know contest after we meet our 8 students and their advisors. First up for Upper Arlington High School,
Hi, I'm Harmon Bredeveld. I'm a junior at Upper Arlington. This is my first year in the know, and I would like to say hello to the UAMB and all our viewers out in Cimarron, New Mexico.
Hi, I'm Emily Hanna. I'm a junior at Upper Arlington, and this is my second year on In the Know, and I'd like to say hi to Peter Stafford Wilson.
Hi, my name's Alan Williams. I'm a sophomore at Upper Arlington. This is my second year on In the Know, and I love gumbo.
Hi, my name's Tom Nguyen. I'm a junior. This is my third year on In the Know. And I'd just like to say that I feel guilty when I watch TV 34 during Pledge Week.
Phil Lampy is the advisor for Upper Arlington. We thank Phil for bringing his squad down to our studios today and wish all 5 of them the best of luck during the second half of In the Know. First up for Worthington Kilbourne High School.
Jeff Tron, I'm a junior at Kilbourne. This is my third year at In the Know. I also wrestle, play tennis, and work on Prospect, our school's literary magazine.
Hi, I'm J.D. Wiley. I'm a junior at Worthington Kilbourne this year. This is my second year on In the Know. I enjoy playing golf, tennis, being in the band program, and participating in my youth group at church.
Hi, my name is Brian Stemple. I'm a junior at Worthington Kilbourne High School. This is my third year on In the Know, and I'm a member of Student Council, Jazz Band, and Physics Club.
Howdy, my name is Peter. I'm a senior at Worthington Kilbourne High School. This is my fourth year on In the Know. I enjoy volunteering at COSI and playing the violin in the Columbus Symphony Youth Orchestra.
Jane DeBross is the advisor for Worthington Kilbourne. We thank Jane for bringing her squad down to our studios today. Wish all 5 of them the best of luck during the second half on In the Know. Again, our score at halftime, Upper Arlington 230, Worthington Kilbourne 185. Students, don't forget the last 3 minutes of In the Know. All point values will be doubled. We'll have a big bonus somewhere along the way as well. Until then, good luck to both teams. Let's begin the second half of this quarter-final round In the Know contest with this 5-pointer. According to the expression, what should you do if at first you don't succeed?
Upper Arlington Tom.
Try again.
Try again. We must, and that's good for 5. Let's move to this 10-pointer now. On March 8th, 1993, the moon was 17,326 miles closer to Earth than average in its elliptical orbit, teaming up with the Earth and Sun in a rare alignment. What name is given to the point closest to the Earth?
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Perigee?
That is the perigee. Good for 10. 10-pointer now. How many chambers are there in the human heart?
Upper Arlington Harmon.
4.
4, easy one there. Good for 10. 5-pointer. Which American aviator worked with a surgeon to develop a pump that enabled animal organs?
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Lindbergh.
That was Lindbergh. Very good for 5. 15-pointer now. Which word completes the idiom beyond the blank? Meaning beyond the limits of...
Worthington Kilbourne Jeff.
Pale.
Beyond the pale. That is correct. Beyond the pale is correct for 15 points. 20-pointer now. Look again at your monitors, please, students. A generation ago, the lady you see repeated 50.
Upper Arlington Allen.
Warhol.
Andy Warhol. Marilyn Monroe, of course. Good for 20. 10-pointer. Death row inmate Walter McMillian was released in 1993 by an Alabama state judge after it was discovered that witnesses lied about his involvement in a murder. Ironically, the inmate was from the town of Monroeville, believed to be the setting for which Harper Lee novel
Upper Arlington Tom.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
Kill a Mockingbird. Very good for 10. 15-pointer. Pencil, paper, maybe calculators. One of my favorite things, a word problem. If a freight train leaves Chicago at 9 a.m., traveling south at 30 miles per hour, and at noon a passenger train leaves the same station traveling south over the same route at 55 miles per hour, how many miles from Chicago will they be when the passenger train overtakes the freight train?
Upper Arlington Tom.
75 miles.
That is incorrect. Kilbourne. I didn't like those problems then. I don't like them now. 198 miles, 15-pointer. Which term is used in science to designate the quantity of heat required to change 1 gram?
Upper Arlington Allen.
Calorie.
Required to change 1 gram of a solid at its melting point into a liquid without an
Worthington
increase.
Kilbourne JD.
The enthalpy of fusion.
That's correct. Heat or entropy of fusion. Good for 15. Another 15-pointer. Which term is used in science to designate the quantity of heat required to change 1 gram of a liquid at its boiling point?
Worthington Kilbourne Jeff.
Enthalpy of vaporization.
That is correct. Entropy of vaporization or heat of vaporization. Good for 15. 15-pointer again. The composition you're about to hear a portion of is the theme for a series of movies and has been used in commercials. Listen in for 15 points. Name both the theme and the composer.
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Pink Panther and Henry Mancini.
That is correct. Got them both for 15 points. Well done. Okay. Here's a 10-pointer now. Vince Foster, who allegedly committed suicide in 1993, was the most powerful Washington figure to die by his own hand since James Forrestal killed himself in May of 1949. What cabinet post was Forrestal the first one to hold, having resigned in March 1949?
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense, very good for 10 points. Another 10-pointer. After capturing Jerusalem, the capital of Judah or Judea, in 586 B.C., which king seized a number of Jews and sent them to Babylon?
Worthington Kilbourne J.D.
Nebuchadnezzar.
More specific.
Nebuchadnezzar of the Chaldeans.
Arlington.
Upper Arlington Emily.
Nebuchadnezzar II.
That is correct for 10 points. That's what we needed. Here is a 20-pointer now. Identify the title of Roman poet Horace's 2 books that expose the failings of individuals or institutions by poking fun at them. Satires. Satires, 15-pointer. Identify the title of Roman poet Horace's 2 books written in the form of letters to an individual or group.
Worthington Kilbourne J.D.
Epistles.
Epistles, very good for 15. 20-pointer, look again at your monitors, please, students. The painting you're about to see is the result of the vivid imagination of a Venetian artist of the 16th century. The theme taken from Roman mythology depicts Minerva pursuing Venus. For 20 points, name the painter of this lush work.
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Botticelli.
Good try, but no. Arlington.
Upper Arlington Emily.
Titian.
Equally good try, but no. The answer was Tintoretto. Let's try this 10-pointer. Give me the English translation of the season of the year, named in the title of Stravinsky's ballet, Le Sacre du Printemps.
Worthington Kilbourne Jeff.
Spring.
Spring is good for 10. 10-pointer now, students. Give me the English translation of the title of Igor Stravinsky's ballet, L'Oiseau de Feu. That is the Firebird. Big bonus time. One last time, students. Our category this time around is It Follows That. 20-pointer now. What word logically follows all of these words? Hyson, gunpowder, oolong.
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Bag.
Upper Arlington Allen.
Tea.
We're giving you Pico also. Good. T is correct for 20. 30-pointer now. What one word usually follows all of these words? Main, poop, spar, and promenade.
Worthington Kilbourne Bryan.
Deck.
Deck. Good for 30. 40-pointer now. What one word completes all of these prefixes? Balance, cart, paddle, sprocket, and pin.
Upper Arlington Harmon.
Beam.
Say again.
Beam.
That was incorrect.
Worthington Kilbourne Bryan.
Wheel.
Wheel is correct for 40. Well done. We move out of It Follows That now into this 5-pointer, an easy one here. Give me the German word for attention.
Upper Arlington Allen.
Aufpassen.
Kilbourne? That was easy. Sorry. Achtung. Let's try this 20-pointer. Identify the U.S. state whose Supreme Court in 1993 honored Indian contributions in a ceremony at New Echota, the last capital of the Cherokee Nation before the tribe.
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Georgia.
In Georgia. That's good for 20. 10-pointer now. Listen to this more contemporary musical selection and identify both the performer and the song title.
I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. 'Cause when I
Upper Arlington Harmon.
Madonna, Material Girl.
No. She doesn't sing that well. That's Brandy, I Want to Be Down. Here's a 10-pointer. For which civilization is the German word Abendland used metonymically?
Worthington Kilbourne Peter.
Aryans.
It literally means evening land and designates the land where the sun sets.
Upper Arlington Harmon.
The Roman.
The Western civilization. Let's try this 5-pointer now. Identify the world's large foundation that shares its name with a motor company and a theater in Washington, D.C.
Upper Arlington Allen.
Ford.
Ford it is. Good for 5. 20-pointer. Robert Schenken won the 1992 Pulitzer Prize in Drama for his epic cycle of 9 playlets designed to tell the whole history of the United States through families living in the Cumberland region of which state?
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
Maryland?
Brian Harmon.
Tennessee?
Good tries both. The answer is Kentucky. Let's try this 5-pointer now. In which mountains is Mount Aconcagua? The Western Hemisphere.
Brian Allen.
Andes.
In the Andes, good for 5. 10-pointer pencil, paper, maybe calculators. I need you to give me what number comes next in this sequence. 9, 16, 25.
Brian Emily.
36.
36. Kilbourne.
Kilbourne, Brian.
49.
And 49 is good for 10. 20-pointer now. Identify the edible, starchy root crop that Cubans use.
Brian Harmon.
Sugar. Sugarcane.
The Cubans use in making bread and tapioca, Kilbourne.
Kilbourne, Peter.
Potatoes.
Is the ever-delicious cassava. Less than 3 minutes to go in the game. All point values now doubled. Good luck to both teams. This question becomes a 20-pointer. In 1993, which capital city was being threatened by the deterioration of the Tiber riverbed?
Brian Harmon.
Rome.
Rome it is. Good for 20. 30-pointer. A campaign to eradicate which disease was begun in Cuba by Major William C.
Brian Harmon.
Malaria.
Kilbourne, Peter.
Typhoid.
Would have given you Major William C. Gorgas in 1900. That's yellow fever. 10-pointer, or 20-pointer now. 20-pointer now, excuse me. Listen carefully. If x is less than 0, what is negative x divided by the absolute value of x?
Brian Tom.
1.
1 it is. Good for 20. 30-pointer. In which Shakespearean play do actors perform The Murder of Gonzago? A play that closely parallels a central character's murder as described by the ghost.
Brian Harmon.
Hamlet.
That is Hamlet. Good for 30. Another 30-pointer. Identify the president of Princeton University, whose name was proposed for...
Kilbourne, Peter.
Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson is correct for 30. 20-pointer. Name the 1915 D.W. Griffith movie, whose inclusion in 1992 in the U.S. Library of Congress was called by the NAACP's board chairman a symbolic slap in the face to over 30 million African Americans. Name the movie. That's The Birth of a Nation. 10-pointer. Citing progress on human rights, the United States in 1993 released...
Worthington Kilbourne, Peter.
China.
To which Central American country $40 million in economic aid that had been suspended almost a year? Its capital is...
Brian Allen.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua is good for 10. 20-pointer. Give me the French word for any strongly fortified building.
Brian Tom.
Fort.
Or
Kilbourne, Jeff.
Liège.
would have gone to Bastille. 40-pointer. Name the poet and author who in 1993 finished his 3rd novel, To the White Sea, at the age of 70. He published his first novel in 1970 entitled Deliverance.
Brian Harmon.
Phil Henningsen.
Kilbourne. James Dickey, 20-pointer. The Union ship Kearsarge defeated the Confederate Alabama at sea off the coast of France in 1864 and ended the destructive threat of this ship. That sound means that the game is over, and as our judge makes his final tabulation of the score, we'd like to let you know that the questions and answers used on this season of In the Know have been carefully researched and prepared by Patrick's Press and the vaunted staff of In the Know. In another wonderfully close contest, our winners today by the score of 425 to 395, Worthington Kilbourne over Upper Arlington. We congratulate both teams on a game very well played and wish Worthington Kilbourne the best of luck as they advance into the semifinals of the In the Know tournament. In the Know is a test of scholarship and quick recall, and both teams did a great job again today. We appreciate your watching In the Know here on TV 34, and join us again next time for another edition of In the Know.
In the Know is supported by the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of Ohio, which provides scholarships at 43 colleges and universities in Ohio.
In the poshest New York pads, in the poorest Asian slums, since the dawn of civilization, dogs have been our chums. We feed them and breed them, muzzle them and nuzzle them, walk with them and talk with them, and they take over our homes. Just who are our canine companions? And why, of all the animals in the world, do we share our lives with them? Get all the facts on Fido, when nature presents man's best friend.
The World of Man and Dog, tonight at 8 on WOSU TV 34.
WOSU TV 34 Columbus and WPBO TV 42 Portsmouth. Celebrate planet Earth. Don't miss WOSU TV's Earth Fest with Thomas the Tank Engine from Shining Time Station. Earth Day activities will include hands-on exhibits for the entire family, plus a live performance with Thomas the Tank Engine. Join us for Earth Fest, Saturday, April 22nd at Veterans Memorial Auditorium. It's a great opportunity to enjoy Shining Time Station Live, starring Thomas and company. Gather with your family and friends for either the 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., or 3 p.m. performance. You can purchase your tickets weekdays between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. by calling 292-3171 and placing your order on Visa, MasterCard, or Discover Card. Or by coming by WOSU at 2400 Olentangy River Road. It's Earth Fest with Thomas the Tank Engine, Saturday, April 22nd.
Good morning and welcome to 34 Classic Theater. Today's feature is The Little Princess. Shirley Temple stars in this 1939 rags-to-riches drama set in the Victorian age. It's The Little Princess on 34 Classic Theater. To pre-treating, Liquid Cheer really hits the spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rikettes!
Rikert is the largest dealer in the land, selling all Ohio cars, the trucks and vans. He's got a guitar in his hand. The Rikert Company, just off of Route 33. Oh, well, he's strumming now, playing reveille. He's the boogie wheeling dealing boy of Route 33. He was so boogie wheeling dealing boy of Route 33. Feeling.
What about that amazing woman? What was her name? People still ask about Bonnie Consolo, 14 years after Mike Wallace interviewed her. They may have forgotten her name, but everyone remembers the woman who was born without arms.
I have driven the freeways in Los Angeles.
Anybody who can do that.
You want to be nervous, Mike? You're supposed to be nervous.
I confess that I wasn't nervous, even though her car carried no special equipment. Unless you call a CB radio special.
Guess what my handle is?
Armless.
They call me Venus.
Oh, that's perfect. Are you aware, Mark, how special your mother is?
Yeah.
Or does she just seem like anybody else's mom to you?
She'd look weird with arms, to me.
You seem to have a remarkable reservoir of composure about, as though you're an utterly normal person. And you'll tell me, yes, I am, Mike, an utterly normal person.
I feel about myself probably the way you feel about yourself. I, just like you, want somebody to like me or to hate me because of what I am, not for what I look like.
23:16. Today, Bonnie Consolo lives a solitary and frugal existence in eastern Kentucky. Divorced, remarried, divorced again. She makes do, even going without electric heat, so she can afford college.
I'd like for you to look at this problem and
It's difficult. She's older than the others, but she's found what she wanted, intellectual challenge and acceptance.
They treat me just like one of the other students.